Hello everybody to the first ever weekly ESPL series. We've gotten off to a little bit of a tumultuous start, but nonetheless, I am Briefcase here along with the lovely Mito, going to be casting you your quarters, semis, and finals today, so hopefully we can get through it all. And that, of course, would be Mito. So if anybody does just happen to be tuning in and doesn't quite know what's going on, ESPL is this weekly series we're going to be running, of course. There's $100 on the line every single week for whoever gets first place. Beyond that, a bunch of league points going to be getting thrown out left, right, and center. And after 3 months' time, whoever has the most is going to be able to go to that ESPL main event, I believe near the end of March there. And I think the prize pool is going to be sitting at least 5,000, going to get bumped up by any ticket sales that indeed do happen once that ticket exists. Hopefully that will be very, very soon. And when it all comes to a close 3 months from now, you're going to get to play with Speed Gaming or Sigma Gaming. And really that should be a hoot for everybody to watch. But nonetheless, let's get into this draft. Actually flying off pretty quickly right off the bat. You got your Venomancer and OD already picked up, but it looks like they have let the Alchemist go through to Team Wild Witch Doctors, which of course is, as far as I know, IX Mike's little side project there.
Dire team ban. Dire team pick.
Don't want to deal. Team Wild Witch Doctors don't really want to deal with strong laning heroes. Yeah, and they picked up the Nyx Assassin probably to counter the Outward Devourer.
Yeah, it definitely seems that way, of course, but I mean, you say they don't want really strong laning heroes, and OD is one of those, but I mean, at the moment, Wild Witch Doctors, they have Alchemist under their wing right now, and Nyx Assassin is eventually, his mana burn is basically going to be countering OD into the late game, so they don't have to worry too tremendously about that. And now Denial has picked up a Gyrocopter, still though not a lot of guaranteed stuns going their way right now, so do you think we're going to see some kind of slipperier heroes? Slark is no longer in the pool, but...
Oh, but yeah, the team fight potential is pretty big. Venomancer with the ultimate, and then you have Outward Devourer dropping the hammer, and Gyro. I mean, pretty much all Gyro skills are pretty darn good in the AoE team fight.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, that is true. Of course, it does look like Denial's Esports with way more AoE under their belt already. And especially if a Veil of Discord comes out on the Veno or anything along those lines, I mean, that could be some huge splash damage now. A Bane actually being picked up by Team Wild Witch Doctors, and not sure how I feel about that. Obviously going to be able to take out the Gyrocopter or OD with whenever they do eventually get a BKB, which of course they will be going for. But so I mean, not a bad pickup by any means, but not too many carries being picked up at all right now. Just all supports, or at the very least not main heroes, it seems.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time.
I mean, who do you think Denial is going to pick up right now, or at least coming up? Because they have already quite a good amount of team fight, but not too much initiation as far as I can tell. You might be able to get a 4-staffed OD and that sort of thing, but I mean, they don't have a puck, they don't have anybody that actually blinks in and really sets stuff up, and do you think that that's what we're going to be looking for? And it looks like Mito might have disconnected, might have had an issue. Not too sure what's going on. Mito, you still there, buddy? Well,
wait, can you not hear me?
No,
I think you muted me inside the game.
I did not mute you inside. Nonetheless, I can hear you now.
But this is through TeamSpeak.
That's right, that's what we've always done, man.
Okay, but... Oh, okay, yeah, no problem. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Nonetheless, just getting out the kinks at the very least. Not the end of the world. And it looks like Denial is going for this incredibly 5-man Dota team fight strat. It appears, of course, Sand King now, there's their initiation. He's got that blink. He's got the Burrow Strike, not to mention the Epicenter. So right now, I mean, Denial Esports, if they can kind of weather the storm in the early game, avoid getting ganked a whole lot, and get into those kind of late game 5-man Dota team fights, I mean, it looks like it's going to pay off for them, or at the very least, they have a very nice lineup to go that way. Wild Witch Doctors, however, they don't look like they actually have too amazingly strong of a gank lineup. Of course, Nyx Assassin and Alchemist and Bane can all do that quite nicely with smokes and what have you, but I mean, they don't have a bounty, that sort of stuff. And now with a Razor pickup, I mean, I'm not sure what game they're playing here.
Oh, Razor's a great laning counter to OD. And Bane, I think Bane perfectly complements all three of those heroes. You can sleep, and then Razor can just start sealing the damage with the static link. And it sets up perfectly for Nyx Assassin's stun as well as the Alchemist Unstable Concoction. I believe that there will be a lot of rotations coming out from Team Wild Witch Doctors during the early game phase, because so far the team fight potential isn't as impressive as Denial Esports. So, and the heroes are not particularly good at pushing towers, so I'm hoping to see a lot of early game movements to open up the map for them, to create more opportunities for the heroes to get ahead. Yeah, but Denial Esports, they just have out of the world team fight abilities. But even during the early game phase, OD is such a potent hero on the lane. Sand King plus Venomancer, their rotations most likely will be pretty efficient as well. Seeing as Team Wild Witch Doctors, the heroes, they don't have great escape mechanisms.
Yeah, no, that's kind of my one fear as well. That Wild Witch Doctors, I mean, they don't. Nyx Assassin maybe has an invis, but let's be honest now, and Bane with the sleep can help in that regard. But it really doesn't look like Denial Esports needs to have that many big lockdown spells to take down or even gank or just take out any of the Wild Witch Doctors right now. None of them have any kind of guaranteed way away, and I think that might come to haunt them a little bit later in this game once Denial Esports starts getting some rotations out and starts going for, you know, those 2 or 3 man ganks with Venomancer and probably a roaming-ish kind of Sand King. So, I mean, right now, I'm not sure if either team is getting out-drafted, I should say, by any means, but nonetheless, it looks like Denial Esports is going to be wanting for those big 5-man team fights.
Yeah, now I'm just trying to guess what they're going to pick up for the last pick. For Denial, they need the offlaner, and Bristleback hasn't been banned. Yeah, Bristleback might be a good choice, or even Clockwork. You need something that can probably tank up a little bit more, so that your Gyro and Copter and Hour Devourer can just stand in the back and dish out the deeps. Yeah, and I'm very curious to see as to what Team Wild Witch Doctors will pick up. The lanes are still keeping me getting as of now.
And now a Shadow Shaman actually being picked up by Denial Esports. So not so much of a tank hero, going for more of that utility and just ridiculous team fight potential. You toss down those wards, and if Sand King gets, you know, 1 or even 2 people in a stun, it's going to be almost a guaranteed kill there. But at the very least, we can say that Denial Esports into this mid game, a BKB would definitely put a pretty big wrench into how much damage they can possibly do. So I mean, gonna probably be seeing BKBs left, right, and center in this game.
Yeah, and not only that, Rasta just allows them to push so efficiently now. You have 2 sets of Snake Wards, and Shadow Shaman also gives you 2 lockdowns, so yeah, and having a Hex is always great against Nyx Assassin, because you don't really want to throw a stun that would do damage and then eat the Spike Carapace damage in return. So yeah, Rasta, it completes the lineup, but from the way it looks, I have a feeling that they're gonna put OD in the safe lane and run the Shadow Shaman as a mid solo and go aggressive trialing with Sand King Venomancer as well as Gyrocopter.
And now actually a Spectre being picked up by Team Wild Witch Doctors there, so it looks like they are going to be trying to push this into the late game. Going to be needing a lot of BKBs, however, if that is the case, to deal with the amount of magical deeps coming out of Denial Esports. But, I mean, what do you think of this Spectre pickup? He can't contribute too much in team fights early on, and if Shadow Shaman and Denial Esports, especially the entirety of them, they decide to go for kind of taking early towers with the Plague Wards, with the Serpent Wards as well, I mean, do you think Wild Witch Doctors can really hold up against that?
Right now, I'm worried for Team Wild Witch Doctors. Their lineup just doesn't seem like they can stop the push coming out of Denial Esports. Essentially, what do they have to offer against the push? They have the Acid Spray, they have the Plasma Field, and Nyx Assassin with a short-range stun, Impale.
Yeah,
So
definitely seems
I don't
like
know how they're going to be able to
they might
buy
have
the
some
time
issues.
for Spectre to farm up.
Well, exactly, and I'm not sure if they will even, but let's get into who is actually playing who. Looks like over here on Denial Esports, we're going to have Defect playing as the Sand King, Ceylan as the Gyrocopter, Magic Soap, the only stand-in in this game right now, going to be playing as that support Veno, it would appear. And it looks like we're going to have maybe a little bit of engagement on the bot lane, just trying to set up things right away. And of course with Bane here, you need to be very, very careful. They have scouted it out, however. Spectre can't contribute too much to this fight, but doesn't look like anything is going to actually pan out. We got 23 playing as the Shadow Shaman, and Druid Boy going to be going as that safe lane OD like we mentioned in the draft. And over on this Radiant side, the Wild Witch Doctors, we're going to have SNA going to be playing this Razor. I've made it. I got the magic. Going to be playing the Nyx Assassin, also known as IX Mike. Looks like XCOM going to be playing as the Bane. W with exclamation marks going to be playing as this Alchemist, and Ush going to be this Spectre farming safely in the bottom lane. I mean, pretty scary tri-lane, however, especially for a Spectre who doesn't have too many ways to get out of there.
Yeah, and well, Team Wild Witch Doctors, they've made the same prediction I did, and they are going to be able to get them laning correctly, putting up the Razor against the OD, and running the Nyx up against the Rasta, the other Shadow Shaman.
And in that matchup in the mid, would you really favor the Nyx by any means? I mean, obviously Shadow Shaman with Ether Shock, it's such an instant and such a fast spell, it's actually kind of hard to spike carapace it or time it properly.
I would say that it's not that important for the Nyx, even if he does lose a lane, as long as he gets his levels and get the basic necessity items, like a Boots of Speed, a TP Scroll, and a bottle. Because once he hits level 6, he can start making those rotations and create more room for the Spectre to farm up.
And a
Because
little
if
bit...
you look right now, right, the Spectre, he's just kind of zoned out, yeah. He's got 0 last hits.
Oh yeah, Us just cannot find anything, and the supports on Denial Esports doing a pretty nice job of just zoning out everybody, making sure that this jungle is not getting used, or basically making sure that the Wild Witch Doctors get no advantage for having this safe lane. And I mean, Us just can't really farm, even with a Stout Shield. The amount of harass that's capable out of this team is a bit too much. SNA has a pretty nice static link going on OD, and of course this is a really nice lane for this Razor, but I mean, still, your Spectre is getting almost no farm, and that's really not at all what you want to see happening.
Yeah, so hopefully, I do expect more rotations from WwD. I think they will be able to kill the Rasta if they do make the rotations towards mid. Because if they stay bottom, essentially, it's just like, hey, we're just going to keep all 3 heroes over here and pressure you.
Oh, exactly, and I mean, what can Spectre do? And not only that, not only is there constant pressure, if Ush does get initiated on, I mean, things could go south very, very quickly. He's only got a spectral dagger, I believe, spectral dagger to get out of there in time, and I mean, I'm just not too sure that he ever could. The slow out of Veno, Sand King's going to want that stun, and if Say Lan gets even 1 point into homing missile, I mean, they probably do have enough slow and stun to lock him in place for that missile to actually make a big thing happen. And now it looks like W trying to set something up, gets just a little stun on Say Lan, but no follow-up, of course. Bane way too far away to aid anything in that regard, and as far as this mid lane is concerned, going pretty close to even here. 11-2 for the Nyx Assassin, comparatively to the 12-0 for roster right now.
Yeah, Mike has decided to get 2 levels into Mana Burn instead of maxing the Impale first. Seeing that Rasta does have pretty high intelligence.
Yes, indeedy, with points gained, I mean, 3 per level is really none too bad by any means, and right now it looks like XCOM, he's got his Enfeeble, just trying to make sure that Say Lan can't get the easy last hits, but with this bottom lane getting so tremendously zoned out right now, I mean, there's not too much they can do. SNA getting a nice static link, Druid Boy doing almost no damage right now, doesn't have any points into Arcane Orb to try and make up for when he does get static link, but SNA getting very low here. It looks like
It
W.
looks like WwD.
Yeah, just gonna stun himself. Can't do anything about it. Everybody out of range, and there's just nothing that this bottom lane can really do. They're barely doing well enough. SNA constantly stealing all of that damage, and Outworld Devourer doing absolutely none after that is said and done. And looks like Defect trying really hard to get this D-Ward down. No sentries coming out of the Radiant team fast enough, or even, I don't think they have any. No, indeed they don't. So that ward gonna stay there, and gets a nice free observer there for his troubles right before it actually expires, so pretty fortuitous for Denial Esports there.
Oh, and Nyx Assassin, he just popped his Invis rune and has TP bottom. And wow, I think we're definitely going to see it.
Now Say Lan in a horrible position. There's no sleep. The stun, of course, does land, however. The Alk's going to follow it up, so actually does go for Defect instead, knowing that he's going to definitely be able to kill the Gyro before anything is going to happen. And looks like Mike going really hard here. Almost falls to the tower. Does get out of there just in time, however, but a nice little rotation out of him to guarantee that there actually was a first blood going their way.
Yeah, that was a great usage of the Invis rune, and then he just passes his bottle to his fellow alchemist to heal up.
Obviously before he takes the long trek home.
You know what though? I am pretty surprised that Outworld Devourer has kept up with the Razor in the top lane. Even though Razor has a lot more denies, but I mean, he's still getting his last hits.
Yeah, he is, it seems, huh? SNA just seeming like he's maybe a little bit too scared to zone him out. Of course, there isn't too much vision. Venomancer could be anywhere right now, and if he even made a single teleport up top, SNA would most likely fall, I suspect. But, I mean, Druid Boy doing pretty nicely holding his own. Maybe SNA trying not hard enough to get the denies. Seeing he does have 13, however, so I mean, he's doing nicely in that regard, but nonetheless, it looks like we have a smoked up Alchemist now setting up a stun. Here he goes, trying to find him, but it doesn't look like he's gonna be able to see him. There is, of course, no observer, and Druid Boy wisely getting out of there in time.
And I like that warding position, the one at bottom.
Ooh, it looks like we have a hasted Rasta. XCOM in a really bit of a scary spot. Instantly hexed. There's the Ether Shock, and this is going to be a dead Bane guaranteed. There's nothing that this Radiant team can do to save him at all, and just an unfortunate place to be once you have a hasted Shadow Shaman basically running straight at you.
Yep, and now the scoreboard's tied.
Oh yeah, still very even when it comes right down to it. If we look at the difference in gold, there pretty much is none. Difference in experience tells very much the same story. So, I mean, at 7 minutes, you're not expecting that much, but maybe a little more than basically sub 100 gold difference. And now it looks like Ush just trying to get and stay within EXP range. Defect hiding in the trees, maybe trying to make something happen, but for how scary and how good this tri-lane has been at zoning out this Spectre, I mean, they are not finding kills, however. Now it looks like actually we have Nyx Assassin has rotated up top. Druid Boy needs to be pretty wary of this. And it looks like he is indeed backing off way to his tower. Doesn't want to fall to any invisible shenanigans. And now actually hiding in the trees as well. I mean, that Nyx Assassin, pretty obvious. But you got to be really careful about that. But WwD plays it well.
Yeah, they do. Now Esports, they're just more comfortable just staying in the back. And if you look at Rasta right now, he's already taking the Roshan on his own, setting up the wall trap perfectly so the Roshan can't attack the hero. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and
that's
I mean,
some great plays. And
looks like W.
Team WwD, they're perfectly aware. Yeah.
Oh, W, yeah, gonna scout it out, but I mean, you can't really go in and fight this with the ward still there. If he had enough for that shackles right away, that might have gone differently. In fact, he did, but I mean, no follow-up coming. The ward's still doing very nicely, and now it looks like Bane coming in. XCOM, though, is gonna fall, can't do anything there, and it looks like they get the Roche, they get a free kill as well, so Denial coming out to, I mean, that's a pretty big advantage this early on. Shadow Shaman now has picked up an Aegis. Kind of don't really need it on him, but nonetheless, you can throw down those wards, run in, guns ablazing, lightning bolts flying from your fingers, and now it looks like
if we look at top,
I've made it. I got the magic. Trying to ever catch Druid Boy, and Druid Boy always incredibly wary, playing very conservatively here, making sure that he doesn't fall, and I mean, rightly so. Mana Burn will just destroy an OD. Even this early on, it's going to be hurting.
yeah. Generally the levels are still like the two teams are still on par. But the supports from the Team WwD are starting to fall behind a bit more. I mean, you look at a support, Sand King and Venomancer, they're both level 6. Whereas the Bane and Alchemist on Team WwD, they're both only level 4.
Yeah, starting to fall off a little bit, and Alec, I mean, he really does want that level 6 so that he can basically be as ballsy as he could ever want to be in every team fight, but now, with Shadow Shaman on the bot lane, he's got his ult going to be coming off cooldown fairly shortly. It looks like they want to, at the very least, trade the top for the bottom. Druid Boy, though, trying really hard to get that deny. Static Link going to make that kind of difficult. Razor does get the kill now, and if there was anything, Shadow Shaman actually picking up some kills on the bot lane. Looks like a lot of spells being used there, and Shadow Shaman almost falling, but not quite. Druid Boy minus 168 damage right there, and they just had no way to actually catch him. No stun from Nyx Assassin, could have flown and gotten it, and 23 actually didn't have to use his Serpent Wards, and now it looks like this tier 1 gonna fall for basically free.
Oh, it's not free. It's a kind of a trade for the loss of their top tier 1. D-Land has already turned on his Ring of Basilius. 23 drops his Snake Wards, and yeah, they get a tower.
Now it looks like Venomancer being in a little bit of a precarious position. SNA with the double damage as well, and looks like more likely than not going to be trying to push in for this mid tower with that double damage. All 4 heroes are here. Ush might be able to actually bring a little bit of damage to a fight with these phase boots, but I mean, still, this Spectre having not the best farming time of his life, with Gyrocopter almost doubling his last hits right now.
That is a little bit of a worry, but I mean, Spectre just gets assist gold so easily. If his team can find a pickoff or even a team fight, and Spectre can just always pop his ultimate and haunt all the heroes from Denial Esports, and if they do end up winning the fight, he will get quite a substantial amount of assist gold while continuing farming somewhere else on the map.
Of course, it's basically one of, if not the biggest advantage of Spectre besides her just ridiculous late game abilities. You can just have her farming in a safe lane or whatever lane happens to have creeps, and then as soon as a team fight breaks out, you know she's going to be there. There's no question of it, and she'll always be there to help pick stuff off and clean things up. And right now, it looks like Denial are going to be using that early amount of pressure that they can put on them with the Serpent Wards, just with their very strong teamfight abilities to really push in and take these early towers. And it doesn't look like Wild Witch Doctors can do too much about it right now. I mean, Nyx Assassin is really more geared up to take kills and take lives than it is to save towers, and they just don't have much anti-push in their bag comparatively to the push or anti-push that Denial is sporting.
Yeah, but at the same time, Spectre is getting a little bit more of a room to breathe and to farm up wherever he needs. Do you think we're going to see a Radiance coming out from the Spectre, or is it going to be one of those diffusal rushes or like diffusal drums?
Honestly, I am not really sure. It seems like Spectre might just be basically too squishy all around if Ush decides to run her. Not particularly tanky and go for that really high damaging Radiance. Gonna need to be really careful because of that OD ult, because of Epicenter. She really doesn't have a good way to stop heroes from actually casting spells, and with the amount of burst that can come out of Denial right now, and not just their team fight in general, I mean, Radiance might not be enough. Their heroes aren't that squishy at the moment.
Yeah, and now Denial Esports, they know that, hey, we have a team fight advantage. We're just gonna start pushing as a team. And WwD, they're responding in a really smart way, saying, hey, we know we can't fight you guys, but we're not gonna let anything go for free. We're gonna start putting pressure on your mid tower.
Radiant's top tower has
But I mean,
fallen.
a single call down coming out of Saylan there, just basically preventing and stopping that push, and it looks like Denial continuing with it. They're just trying to get as much of an early gold and tower advantage as they possibly can. I think that's really a smart play coming out of them. You really don't want to even pour it into them. Nyx Assassin might be able to get a stun, but the amount of team fight that Denial can do and the amount of just AoE damage that they have is just tremendous. Not to mention that Shadow Shaman now has picked up a Blink Dagger. He's got an Invis Rune. They use a smoke now. Probably going to wrap around, see if they can't find a single person out and about.
Yep, yeah. Denial Esports, they're just getting so much map control from taking these towers. And when the next Roshan spawns in like another 2 minutes or so, then for me, it's gonna be pretty rough for WwD. How are they gonna contest Roche? What do they have to bring to the table?
Maybe a lucky Alk stun on 3 or 4, and it looks like the smoke coming out of Denial not doing too well for them. They might be able to actually catch out. They do indeed run into him, and it's an invisible Shadow Shaman. They probably don't actually know that he's there. They don't indeed, and it looks like W actually going to be stunning himself. Nyx Assassin, oh no, a horrible Fiend's Grip onto the illusion, and what can they do? Aethershock on 3, hits
Oh
every
my
single
God.
one. Spectre going to be falling as well. Wild Witch Doctor's having a terrible gank attempt there, and just falling prey to the gank attempt of Denial. Looks like Magic Soap might actually fall here. There's a static link on him. Maybe want to keep him alive just long enough to steal as much as possible, but that Thunderstorm, Eye of the Storm, going to be picking him off nonetheless, even as a little piggy. But yeah, Denial just taking a huge lead right now, and the gold shows it. I mean, 5,000 gold advantage right now. The ward's going down, as well as the call down, just trying to make sure they get as much map control as humanly possible. Nyx Assassin immediately Astral Druid Boy trying his very best to get as many pot shots on that tower as possible.
Wow, that sinking Epicenter into the Burrow Strike, that was beautiful. He got Burrow Strike on 2 heroes, and like he managed to get damage dealt to all 3 of the heroes that were in that fight. Wow. So yeah, it was a beautiful play, just hiding in those trees. Wow. So impressed.
And I mean, what can Team Wild Witch Doctors do right now? It seems like they just basically need to create as much space as humanly possible for the Spectre to become a threat. And with the way this game is going right now, and Shadow Shaman has his blink, he's farming up very nicely. He's getting closer and closer to that Ags, of course. Going to take a little while still, but it just feels like Wild Witch Doctor can't push into any of these towers as long as, you know, 1 or 2 heroes from the opposition is there because of that AoE. They really do need to find a pick-off, make use of that time, get some farm onto the Spectre, maybe find another kill if they can, but they just seem like they can't find a single one of those pick-offs, especially against Druid Boy, who has been playing very nicely in just sniffing out those ganks.
What they need to be doing is they have to find a way to take that mid tier 1, because that opens up the map a lot more for them, and they'll have access to jungle as well as to other parts of the map, and then they have to start finding pickoffs, because when they're getting pickoffs or they're forcing out TP rotations, those kind of stuff will buy the time needed for Spectre to farm.
And now stun does fall on Magic Soap, but it's just to harass. No follow-up coming out of W. With those exclamation marks, of course, you gotta yell it. And, I mean, Saylan, he's actually doing fine now. It looks like he does have his Helm of the Dominator. Not sure where those stacks are. They will be coming. Has picked up a ranged creep instead of one of the big neutrals. But, I mean, Spectre still pretty far behind him. Not too much in last hits, but I pretty sure if we look at this net worth, he is indeed a good 2,000 plus, 2,500 gold behind him, so pretty substantial. While that's happening, XCOM and W fall right into a trap. 23, though, able to catch them all out, and an epicenter being used just to guarantee that Alk regen does not save the day there. So, I mean, getting 2 free pickoffs. It looks like Wild Witch Doctor just constantly falling prey to those pickoffs, despite the fact that their team seems to be the far more gank-oriented one.
Wow, that was just... Once again, the execution was flawless. The Gale landed on 2 heroes. I mean, the Ether Shock obviously would naturally hit 2 heroes. And you have 2 Umbrella. Oh, and at bottom, it looks like they're chasing down the Venomancer. And wow, he was 1 hit away from killing him. And that was a very narrow escape.
Yeah, as we say that as well.
In mid.
Looks like Druid Boy picked up an easy kill top against the Spectre, unfortunately. 23 now in a pretty precarious position, but of course Nyx Assassin needs to be really careful here. The Burrow Strike does land on Spike Carapace, actually uses the Vendetta to get away of all things. What is this, a pub game? But looks like IX Mike is able to actually live through that, so still not too bad coming out of him there. Ceylan has picked up an Invis Rune, and they know Roshan is there. IX Mike and the Wild Witch Doctors, they have to know something is up, and it looks like they do know Ceylan's there as well because of this nicely placed sentry ward, so they're going to be probably getting a little bit farther away from that jungle. If they happen to find him, though, if XCOM can get a nice dust, and instead, unfortunate that he just couldn't find Ceylan with that one.
Yeah, it's pretty scary though. I mean, even Rasta and Sand King have Blink Dagger. They've had it for a couple of minutes, even in the past previous fights. And now it looks like Deny Esports are going to be going for that second Roshan. And what can WwD do as of now?
I know what you mean. They just don't seem to have any way to deal with the AoE. Like I said, can you get a lucky Alk stun? And not the best of ward traps by any means, trapping only a little air there, but doesn't seem to really matter right now. They have so many wards, the Plagues, the Serpents, that there's nothing that Wild Witch Doctors can really do to stop that by any means. And now, with that, Denial picking up another Aegis for their troubles, putting it on the OD, farming OD with his 4 staff now, and I mean, they are just getting to be terrifying into this mid-game with all of their AoE and team fight capabilities. They basically just need to push in and go for the throat right now.
Yeah, they have all the advantage they want, and if we take a look at the goal graph, it's already 7,500 in favor of Deny Esports, and they're also 5,000 ahead in terms of XP. So they have all the lead and all the items they need to go for those big pushes. And Ceylan is just taking a big stack, and holy crap, he has a lot of gold.
Oh yeah, definitely. And I mean, the longer and longer that this game goes on, obviously, the more possibility there is of this Spectre actually becoming a threat. And that's the one thing about Spectres. It's one of those carries where even if they've had a terrible game, by around the 50-minute mark, it doesn't really matter. They're usually still going to be a pretty scary threat in their own right, and especially Spectre as a carry. If he gets enough farm near the end of the game, or just in general, I mean, it doesn't really matter how good you've been playing or how good the game has been going, how much of an advantage you have. There's always that chance that a very farmed Spectre will just turn the tide completely near the end game.
Yeah, right now they're just like, they were 5-man babysitting him. It's making sure that the ganks are coming in from the right side. And now that they've noticed the Now Esports is at bottom, they're going to go and engage on Druid Boy. But he is going to be able to get out safely with the Throw Staff. But yeah, they're hoping to get a tier 1 trade for a tier 2 because they know, hey, we can't take the fights right now. So, but Deny Esports are not letting that happen because they're putting up a lot of Plague Wards to defend the tower.
Oh yeah, now it looks like we have 4 of the 5 going down to this bot, trying to get this tier 2, and it looks like SNA just trying his very best to maybe get the deny, staying within range of a little tower hit there, and he wants it badly. Can't quite get it, however, and indeed the Dire are going to be able to get that kill. So, I mean, Denial getting a huge amount out of this map so far, and if we look at the actual towers, I mean, they've only lost 1 in the top. The tier 2s are still, of course, very healthy. The mid getting a little low. But the bottom doing still terrifically. And now a nice blink in by 23. I've made it. I got the magic. clearly does not. Still able to get out of there, though, with the spiked carapace, and now trying to turn things around a little bit. SNA, a nice Fiend's Grip onto the gyro. He does indeed fall. This has just gone a little bit pear-shaped. SNA trying his very best to get stand-in Magic Soap. W, can he get that last stun off and get anybody? Does indeed get Magic Soap, but there isn't too much of a follow-up. Plasma Field now being used, and it looks like Defect has been able to get there, but doesn't look like he actually wants to use an Epicenter.
Is under attack.
And now, I mean, is Denial actually going to try and defend this tower? This SNA, actually with not too much static link, but it's stun on 2. Very nice there. The Aegis does get popped. Magic Soap already using his ult. Can this Aegis respawn before W? At least he will stun himself, guaranteeing that he gets Druid Boy as well. But Defect with a beautiful Epicenter in, as well as a last-minute Sanity's Eclipse does indeed fall. The gem now, wasn't aware they had one, but there it is, and the only one getting out of here alive is Spectre, but maybe not yet. Needs to get that Shackle off. There it is. It's only level 1. Defect, not enough mana to actually get to him, and it looks like Ush gonna be able to TP out of here with his life, but, I mean, what I thought was gonna be a definite Denial victory there turned around for Witch Doctors just a little bit in the early bits, and then Denial able to clean up at the end with both an Epicenter and Sanity's Eclipse. So nice play coming out of both of those teams.
Oh yeah, I mean, that almost went in the way of WwD. I thought they would be able to take the tier 1 and come out on top in that engagement. Because, I mean, when Denial they blinked in, I was like, oh crap, people are gonna die. But then Nyx Assassin managed to pop his Vendetta just in time to get away. And then instead they turn around and then they start chasing, get the kills. But then just kinda just went a little bit overboard, chased a little too far. And yeah, it was really unfortunate that they lost the fight.
And now it looks like we have Ceylan actually has a BKB, so he's going to be pretty impervious to most things. Looks like IX Mike just waiting now, trying to set up a gank. If he can get that stun off, then Bane's going to be there to follow up. Does he have a Fiend's Grip? He does indeed, so BKB not going to be able to save him, but it looks like Spectre now going in, throws down the call down, lands on 3 there, in fact. Spectre, Ush still chasing him down, and we are going to be seeing a Radiant Spec right now. Still, though, quite a bit later than you would usually want to see on one, and, I mean, an unfortunate gank attempt by the Wild Witch Doctors there. Ceylan getting out of there pretty much scot-free. They do burn a BKB charge, but I mean, they rotated 4 or 5 heroes there. And now, once again, Druid Boy getting pretty much the max he can out of this map right now. Finding farm, goes pretty deep into the lane, knowing that everybody's rotated top, and as soon as he smells them coming, he just gets out of there scot-free.
But this is actually pretty good for Team WWD. Sure, a 26-minute Radiance isn't that great, but he is getting there. He is starting to get what he needs. And, I mean, Spectre is definitely a game-changing hero. Oh, and we have an engagement on around the Radiant Ancients.
And it's like Defect does get the stunned. Doesn't really matter, though. Ceylan is there. He has a cooldown available. Defect always going to be able to get out of there. And it just looks like neither team really knows if they want to be playing this out. And it does look like 23 wants to. Always has wards available. SNA there. A nice stun on 2 by, or maybe that was 3 by IX Mike there. And
3.
the mech saving him. They can't do anything. Plasma Field now. Astral Orbs. I believe it's Astral Orbs. Arcane Orbs, my bad. Doing quite a bit of damage. Defect getting that stun off on himself. There is the Burrow Strike. Sandstorm as well. Everything being used now. The ults. And it looks like IX Mike's Wild Witch Doctors having a hard time. 3 deaths for almost nothing at the moment. And Defect just incredibly low. Spectre, no ult available to try and set that up. And now a mech. This push is just going to continue.
Dire's bottom tower
Yeah, I mean, they're lucky though. The Serpent Wards are outside of tower range. Won't be hitting the towers that fast. Wow, and that was so close to killing 23.
Oh, Ush with the TP in, immediately melts, can't do anything, and now with that, no buyback has... And what a shame as well. Haunt was just off a cooldown, and that's the sort of spell you want when you see 23 running away with only 150 HP. When you see stand-in Magic Soap, this Venomancer with only 600, I mean, both of those possible kills, especially with the newest addition to Reality, where you can kind of hop around the map, I mean, that could have been an easy double kill for this Spectre right when he needed it.
Yeah, and the Roshan's almost up again. I just want to quickly look at the items. And yeah, Team WWD, they're starting to get some of their items up. But I mean, just look at how much Deny has. A very easy representation to simply how far ahead they are is like just looking at the fact that the mid and the bottom tier 1 are both still standing, even though it's on really, really low HP.
Oh yeah, and I mean, this Venomancer now, he's picking up his Necronomicon. He's got level 1, so they really are starting to get that really strong push ability in. And, I mean, Wild Witch Doctors, they gave up their gem to Denial. Now they don't really have any map vision. If we look at the map right now and I switch to, come on, there it is, only their vision. They really don't have very much. They've only got the tier 2 in the mid, tier 2 in the top, which, I mean, do not provide you too much map coverage by any means. So, I mean, a little bit scary. Not to say that Denial has that much, but nonetheless, they can de-ward pretty much all day long, and they know Roche is going to be coming up soon, just planting down a Plague Ward, going to be scouting it out, and I mean, that's going to be done really shortly. This is actually not even a whole extra minute being added, only about 45 seconds, so I mean, that's going to be up before that Plague Ward expires, and they know it, and once again, looks like Wild Witch Doctors just pretty much can't do anything about it.
Yeah, I mean, just the fact that they have 2 Blink Daggers on the Dire team, it puts so much mental pressure. Because you never know when the gank is coming in. Because it's not like, hey, I see your heroes charging at me, I'm just going to back off. But instead it's going to be like, hey, I'm farming freely, and then suddenly, boom, heroes are right next to me, and they're throwing a bunch of spells. So yeah, they have, Team WwD, they're forced to play really, really carefully and defensively.
It looks like, unfortunately, that War Trap not working again, and WwD, with not really enough vision to know what's going on, they do have this ward here, might have actually spotted out some of the people, but nonetheless, this Roche still falling pretty much immediately. The only thing I think of that WwD could really do to help is if Osh got in there, got a little bit of Radiance damage, but I mean, even then, just too dangerous by all means, and now with this last Aegis, as well as the Cheese going on to 23, I mean, it looks like Denial is just ready to go for the throat, ready to finally push down this mid and polish off this game.
Yeah, they have all the stuff they need. They have the Aegis. That was the 3rd one, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's the 3rd one. So there's a Cheese on top, and Rasta is holding onto it. And
Dire's bottom tower
wow,
has fallen.
if you look at it, Rasta is actually not too far away from... He's about halfway to a Refresh Orb. And once you have those 2 Serpent Wards, and just being able to use Hex twice, as well as 2 Shackles, wow, it's pretty devastating.
Oh yeah, just like, what can Team WwD even do there? And I mean, it looks like all they can really do is try and get Spectre as much farm as humanly possible, make sure he can live through a fight and kind of get a few right clicks in, but it looks like Ceylan, realizing that a big push is going to be coming up shortly, he's picked up his Demon Edge. I mean, I don't think we're going to be seeing a Rapier anytime soon. They're not behind by any means. And even if we look at the difference in gold, it's actually up to about 14,000 in favor of Denial right now. 12,000 experience in favor of them. And I mean, this game that almost didn't happen now, looking very much in favor of Denial.
Yep, we might have like 2 engagements, one at mid and one at top. IX might be blinking into engage, and then they'll pop the Spectre ultimate. Perhaps, maybe.
Oh, well, he has popped his
So
Vendetta.
they definitely want to engage on this one.
Yeah, they definitely do want to take down Ceylan, but he will get out of there. And it's like IX Mike does not see the TP, doesn't get that nice, annoying spiked carapace or impale thrown down to make sure that he gets away. And I mean, right now, Outworld Devourer, with quite a bit of intelligence, that Sanity's Eclipse is going to be hurting a whole lot. And, well, these, what is that, 4 heroes? 5 heroes now in the mid. They really do want to take this tier 2 and open up the map even more.
Yep. Meanwhile, IX Mike is just split pushing up top. Yeah, I can see why they didn't want to engage though. I mean, you don't really want to have to engage too near to opponent's towers, because TP support can just come in and pick you off.
And especially with the amount of Blink Daggers being run by Denial right now, of course, you have it on Sand King and you have it on 23. Those heroes do have pretty much enough lockdown to take down a Nyx Assassin, especially Shadow Shaman with his Hex there. Just not popping Spike Carapace by any means, so I mean, very, very scary, but I mean, I think this...
WwD.
Yeah, exactly. WwD, that Radiance pickup by Spectre, I think, really, you just gotta pop that Spectre ult at the beginning, you don't need to be as worried now from those blinks, but it looks like Denial trying to get in here, trying to do as much damage to the tower as possible. The wards go down, as well as the Necro 2. Plague wards just trying to go for this long siege, and it looks like IX Mike has indeed returned back home. Can't really do too much, but he's actually way too far out. Gets slept, a beautiful sleep there. Ceylan popping his BKB, the call down over the high ground, can't do too much. Looks like Vendetta being used once again to get out of here. While that's happening, we got OD, big Sanity's Eclipse from him, bringing everybody down. It looks like can't quite get out of here though. Ush's Radiance doing a huge amount of work right now, and it looks like Magic Soap just barely getting out of there. Ceylan as well. What a shame that Reality is obviously on cooldown still, but I mean Spectre, like I said, he's slowly getting those items, I should say. He's got his Yasha now. He's got a Vitality booster. Probably going to be going Heart soon. And you can just never count out a team that has Spectre if it goes this late.
Yeah, but then 4 of WwD's members were picked off in that fight, and 2 of them bought back as well. So that was a really costly fight. Yeah, and sure, Spectre is starting to get items, and he did do quite a substantial amount of damage in that fight. But like, so is Deny Esports. They're getting a lot of items and what they need as well. It looks like Ush, wow, he's doing tons of damage. He's gonna start chasing down 23.
Ooh.
Oh, but he does manage to get the blink off.
Yeah, some very nice just little play there. For everybody who doesn't know, when you hex somebody, pretty much everything good about them goes away and they just turn into a pig or a chicken, but I don't think there's been too many chickens. And so obviously Radiance no longer works, and it actually gave Shadow Shaman just enough time, 3.5 seconds. Obviously Blink Dagger has a 3-second cooldown when you take damage to actually get out of there. So just like a nice little bit of mechanics for everybody watching.
Yep, and they instantly see the Nyx Assassin just pop his Vendetta. They're very aware of this, and are they gonna have a sentry placed?
Is there any detection coming out of them? None
They already have a
whatsoever.
gem. Yeah, they have a gem on Venomancer, so
of course.
they're not too worried.
Looks like IX Mike just trying to scout things out, and Denial going once again in for this push. No cheese this time around, no Aegis either, but they do have a Necro 3, and they go in for this long. Nice stun on 2. In runs Ush, doing a lot of work. 23 melting before he can help out. OD as well. It looks like this game is not over. Call down on 3. Doesn't really matter, and it just continues right now. Still, though, that Gyrocopter doing a huge amount of work with that Flat Cannon and his Monkey King bar, and it looks like when all is said and done, Venomancer getting a kill on Nyx Assassin as well. Looks like we got a buyback by Shadow Shaman. He's going to be slowly trundling all the way home. And now Druid Boy has popped in, back as well. All the buybacks coming in. Then they want to end this right now. Looks like W in a horrible spot. No ult to regen through those arcane orbs. Everything is A-okay. However, Ush now, once again, going right for the throat, doing a lot of work. But there's the Sanity's Eclipse, melting him immediately. And now it looks like IX Mike, that Vendetta to get out, has been doing very nicely for him this game. Ush, though, with the immediate buyback, coming right back into the fight. It just continues. Mana burn for 575. And now, 1 Serpent Ward's down. Do they have enough damage to actually take down Ush? It doesn't look like it. Spectre, which is able to mitigate too much of it. Defect now going to fall as well. So that is, I mean, that's got to be going the way of Wild Witch Doctors. Quite a few buybacks, but nonetheless, they are finally going to be able to take this mid-tier 1.
Wow, that was just a big turnaround, and I guess Spectre is starting to come into play. And at this stage of the game, you can never count out a Spectre with items.
What did I tell you?
Holy crap, you're absolutely right. But that mid-tier 1 is almost, I mean, tier 3 is almost gone as well, with only 161 HP remaining. But yeah, that was definitely not what Deny Esports wanted. And just get, now they've used so many buybacks. How many buybacks do we have in that fight?
Let's see,
Venomancer didn't, so, but Shadow Shaman did.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking at the
Banking bought
buyback
back.
status. So, yeah, we're looking
Yeah,
at, that was
Devour.
6 buybacks over across both teams from that. 3 on each. All right, 4 for Wild Witch Walkers, and man, I'm bad at math right now.
Oh, but
A lot. That's a
Razor
lot.
and Alchemist were from the previous fight, not the previous fight. Yeah.
I see. Quite a few though.
Yeah. Wow. So I think it'd be really interesting if we take a look at the goal graph and XP graph right now. That is a wow. It's starting to swerve back up.
Oh
And-
yeah.
Yeah, the XP advantage, a lot of it's gone. Holy crap, in that short time, within like 5 minutes, it went from 12,000 advantage back down to 4,000 with the Now Esports.
So So I mean, the level's leveling out, if you will, and now it looks like W really far forward. Not sure what he's doing. Blink and stun. Don't know if he's gonna get out of this one. It looks like Bane is there to sort of save him, puts him to sleep, and there is a Fiend's Grip going on Defect. Looks like they will fall, and of course Spectre is there to help clean things up. Actually, finally ports in now. It's like Magic Soap in a rough spot. IX Mike poisoned to high hell. Doesn't really matter though. Ush, all he needs to do is chase down Magic Soap as soon as he sees Ceylan turn around. He does indeed put his tail between his legs and get out of there. Now it looks like we have a missile, obviously not going to be catching its target. And I mean, now Wild Witch Doctors, they're finding their kills. They're finding a few little pickoffs here and there. And the more and more Ush gets, the better and better he will be. And he's actually getting fairly close to that heart now. Should see it within the next couple minutes.
Oh wow, like he's just picked up so much, being always alive in those team fights, and getting a lot of kills and assists. Wow, he's definitely came back from a huge deficit in the beginning. And yeah, IX Mike, he's been the key player in those engagements, both the one at mid and the one just now. His blink 2-man, 3-man stuns are so impressive.
And not only that, I mean, saving the Vendetta to get out of there, normally not seen in 2 of high-level play, but of course with the gem that's been on that Venomancer for so long, he's just been trying to kill him or trying to take that gem out at the very least, and then just able to slip out of there, and it's actually been working out pretty well for him. Hasn't died nearly as many times as I would think, and once again it looks like Denial going for this Roche 23, throwing down a big schwack of Plague Wards to try and make sure that happens, and Wild Witch Doctors, of course, once again, not capable of contesting.
I love the positioning of the Snake Wards. Like, that position, right? If Team WwD comes into a fight, those Snake Wards, those Serpent Wards will be able to help out as well. But yeah, that was... I love it. Yeah. It's just like high-level plays throughout the game.
All these little, like, kind of micro things that normally you wouldn't think of. These players are.
Yeah, they're nailing it. And Rasta, instead of going for... He recognizes that, hey, he's always going to die so fast because of that Spectre. Oh, wow. That was some quick reaction for Rasta to blink away from Nyx Assassin's engagement.
And we have engagement up top. Sanity's clips right away to try and take away as much mana as possible. That Astral not doing the work that they want him to. They get one, only the Bane, but it looks like indeed Spectre is able to TP out of there in time, and Razor able to just run straight away. Actually activates a haste rune from the rune spot, and with that one pick off, it looks like Denial hoping to capitalize, at the very least take down this last tier 2 that's standing for Wild Witch Doctors.
I actually feel WwD came out on top in that particular engagement, and now they take off the Dire Courier as well, because they essentially wasted a Sand King ultimate, and that puts Outworld Devourer's BKB on cooldown.
True, I mean, they don't have many ultimates available to them right now. Serpent Wards are going to be up pretty shortly, but I mean, just the amount of push that they can do right now with only Plague Wards, I mean, they're doing fine, just fine in that regard. And now it looks like they might want to go for this trade. Ush trying very, very hard to get at least a tier 2 for a tier 2. Looks like we have 1 TP coming in. Ush shouldn't really be caring about 1, but now there are indeed 2. Force Staff doesn't get through all the trees. It looks like Ush gonna basically just be running through the jungle completely willy-nilly. Nothing can stop him now, and still has Reality available, has picked up a heart now, and Spectre's starting to be almost, I don't want to say unkillable, but he's starting to be a huge problem for Denial.
Yeah, I mean, he's got 2500 HP and he's got Dispersion, which reflects 22% of the damage being dealt to him, which is pretty significant when you have a good sizable HP pool. And there's going to be engagement at mid.
IX Mike just can't quite get in there, and I mean, those Blink Daggers, fast fingers coming out of both teams there, but I want to say particularly 23, he has just been on site basically with those blinks, and incredibly quickly his reflexes, at least as far as I've seen.
Yeah, but if you look at his items, right, I mean, 10 minutes ago he was so close to that, well, he was about halfway to that refresher orb, and he realizes that, hey, he can't sustain throughout the fights. Spectre is doing way too much damage, so now he's opted to go for a BKB, which I think it's what a smart player would be doing, and I'm just thoroughly enjoying this game. Like, these players, both teams, wow, it's going back and forth.
And I mean, both teams adapting to the situations obviously as well. 23 realizing that he is basically the primary target to start off because they don't have some gigantic damage dealer every single time. But I mean, nonetheless, IX Mike now needs to be a little careful. That extra speed from Vendetta going to be providing him just enough time to get out of there, and indeed blinks away knowing that 23 is right on his tail. Why is Magic stuck in the trees?
He's scared. He's like, no, Nyx Assassin, please don't find me.
Looks like
I
a
don't know.
possible unfortunate force staff into those trees more likely than not, and wouldn't be surprised if that was the case, maybe right here. Shoop. But nonetheless, looks like we got Denial. They're just, they can't seem to really, they don't have as much map control as they once did. They're not as terrifying as they once were now, and IX Mike actually needs to be careful here. Magic might be able to see him, and it looks like they do find him. There's the Hex, and it looks like IX Mike gonna be falling here, and what an unfortunate pickoff. He's constantly trying to scout out, but just happens to run into the Venomancer, and man, Gems, that's a lot of true sight. That's a really long range on that true sight.
I love what he's doing though. He's scouting out for his teammates, regardless of like whether he dies or not. His teammates, they know, hey, we're safe to farm now, and his invisible presence, right? It's forcing the now esports to constantly group up and stick as a team. But yeah, what he's been doing, I mean, it's not just that like he got picked off, but it was also what he was doing for his team.
Oh yeah, not by any means. I mean, space created. You have Ush now getting that tower on the bot. He's up to 3,800 gold. Is his buyback up? Yes, indeed it is. And now it looks like they have finally taken the tier 3 here, and more likely than not going to be going for this slow siege. But you don't really want to race a Spectre when you can't really get into this base, and he can always come back. Plague Wards are down now. It looks like there is a fortification available, and it looks like Spectre trying to take down this tower before he actually comes to help might actually bite them in the ass a little bit, because they are going to be losing this Rax at the very least. Call down now. IX Mike with the beautiful BKB. Looks like they popped the Aegis. Plasma Field doing a lot of work. Defect melting. And now Ush right in the thick of things. Sea Land now. Still though quite a bit of damage. And Druid Boy with a huge Sanity's Eclipse, guaranteeing that they get both of these Rax. W almost falling to those Arcane Orbs. And they pick up a gem. Ush now making it back into the fight. Has bought back, but I mean, still though, those Plague Wards doing quite a bit of damage, has a diffusal for his troubles, and now, of course, I mean, Denial getting a nice trade out of that when it comes right down to it. You have your lane of Rax out, you got quite a few kills, forced some buybacks, and now delayed Spectres. Well, I mean, he's getting pretty scary, but I guess delayed his Manta at least a little bit there.
And I just want to say, I was thinking about it a little bit more, and I was realizing, hey, why is the Spectre so tank? It's also because Brazier is sapping all the damage out of at least one of the... I mean, he's going to be stealing damage for one of the opponents, and then you have Enfeeble from Bane, that nullifies the damage of another. So then, like, after you get these oh, wow, I'm sorry, in the meantime, they're actually chasing down IX Mike.
Oh yeah,
But yeah,
but
he gets away.
too fast, dude. Those blink fingers can't quite get him, and of course, looks like you just shift queued up a blink, so that Astral was more of a boon than a deterrent.
Yeah. But yeah, with Enfeeble and Static Link, if they do get to use those skills, yeah, it will ensure the Spectre will stay alive even longer in those fights. Unless he gets popped, of course, by things like Sanity's Eclipse. That was just a huge, like, yeah.
It seems like Sanity's Eclipse being one of the stronger alts and one of the stronger abilities in these fights now, just because, I mean, Spectre has the ability to sustain really well in a fight, and you really do need to have a burst, and with Sanity's Eclipse, I mean, he's sitting at a nice amount of intelligence there. Just getting a huge chunk of his HP gone right away is pretty big. And they actually just see a gem, sending a little guy to get it, but now it looks like IX Mike does pick it up. Indeed, they do find him, and now there's Ush porting in. Can he get it? BKB now being used, so nothing going to be killing him right there at all. It's finally finishing off, but there's the Serpent Wards, everything falling down, and it looks like WwD coming out way ahead here, forcing those ults a little bit early. Now Druid Boy going to be falling as well. 2 buybacks coming out by both Gyrocopter and Sand King there, and W going to stun himself at the end of all of this when everything is said and done. And it looks like Ush able to get out of there. We'll have Reality back up fairly shortly, however, 90-odd seconds, and looks like WwD, I mean, starting to pull it back. If we look at the gold graph, they've kind of stabilized around 10,000 to 12,000 disadvantage, which isn't too bad now that your Spectre's getting the farm he needs. And experience-wise, still sitting between 6 and 8,000. Not the end of the world by any means. And Ush now, I mean, getting just to be terrifying. You think Denial can actually hold out for this? Gyrocopter is becoming a huge threat himself, hitting for about 300 damage a hit, and has his Satanic, has his MKB. Looks like he's going to be getting a Butterfly fairly shortly.
Yeah, I mean, you can never count on Denial Esports, man. They have massive teamfight potential, as we said right from the beginning. And Gyrocopter, I don't recall ever seeing a Gyrocopter with, say, 2 Divine Rapiers up against a Spectre. I'm very curious as to how that would go, how that would pan out.
Well, I mean, I think it just really depends on what does the Spectre have. Does the Spectre have enough HP?
Blade Mail.
Yeah, exactly. Does the Spectre have Blade Mail, or does Spectre have enough HP that Dispersion will really come into play there? And I mean, right now, this one, Ush sitting at 2,700 is definitely going to be coming into play against this Gyrocopter. And now it looks like they are going to be battling it out, trying to check to see if this Roshan is going to be back up. And this Illusion doing a huge amount of work against Venomancer. They can barely really deal with it, but they eventually do take it out. And it looks like both teams know that this Roshan is going to be available fairly shortly. The Venomancer Ward's doing very nice work. And in runs IX Mike, the playmaker right now. Magic Soap, stun on 2. Gyro falling immediately. 23 has to pop his BKB as well as a TP to get out of there. Ush now, Defect now going to fall as well. Or maybe not. Ush, though, trying to finish him off. It looks like the Radiance Burn will be able to get it, as well as that Mana Burn. Getting double burn there, indeed. And now it looks like this is going to be pretty much a guaranteed Rax and Lane of Rax even here. Going through the backdoor protection. Fortification used slightly off to save that one ranged Rax. What an unfortunate turn of events. But nonetheless, Wildwater Witch Doctors doing very nice, and with all those ults not available anymore, as well as the Razors, Eye of the Storm being on cooldown, this I should excuse me. Whew. This backdoor protection finally coming into play, but it looks like there's just nothing that Denial can do, and they just get to pot shot it down all day long. Ush is gonna be loving that.
Oh yeah, it's very unfortunate. Both Gyrocopter and Sanking the cooldown, the buyback cooldown is still on, like, still 3 minutes away, as well as, like, they don't have enough money to do so.
And I mean, with
yeah,
that,
now
Gyro being down, they know that they don't have that Denial has pretty much no way to deal with them taking this, so they take a free Roche as well. And Spectre now, this is when he becomes absolutely terrifying. He's finished off his Manta, he has a Diffusal, he's got the Aegis, he's almost fully slotted. So I mean, Denial now in actually a precarious position.
We didn't mention that. I mean, Spectre, sure, he's big, he's fat, but his teammates are also pretty darn scary. I mean, Razor has Mech, BKB, and Aghanim Scepter, and even the support Alchemist in the beginning already has Pipe, Medallion, Assault Cuirass, and a Vitality Booster, and a lot of evasion. And he's got Heaven's Halberd now. So yeah, it's not Spectre alone that you have to deal with at this point. There's so many heroes, they're so tanky. And the problem with the Gyro Divine right now is he's gonna get locked down by the Bane Elemental. Like, it's a guaranteed. Bane got BKB just for that. And there's currently no Lincolns, or I don't think they will be able to get Lincolns to help the Gyrocopter.
No, and of course,
so it's
if this Bane actually saves that BKB charge for every single fight, there's nothing that Gyro can do, and there's no way for Denial to actually deal with it unless they get basically a perfect engagement themselves. But if this Bane player, if XCOM, I mean, plays this right, should basically just be waiting in the wings for Gyro to show up, pop his BKB, and just counter it every single time. So I mean, Wild Witch Doctor's off to a rough start, seeming to do pretty nicely so far, coming back.
Oh, now we have a little more time to look at all the items and whatnot.
Yes, indeed. It looks like W might be having a little bit of lag, so give you this opportunity to look at some items, everybody. See what there is indeed for each hero. And I mean, IX Mike just been the playmaker, starting every engagement, is the initiator, and just doesn't seem to care for his own life, being a little bit of a sacrifice sometimes, but nonetheless really making things happen for his team.
Yeah, absolutely. It's I don't know if they actually timed it or if they were always paying attention, but I felt that they've always choked Denial Esports whenever like they're so close to the next item. Like Sealand was around 900 gold away from his butterfly, and if you look at Rasa right now, he's 1800 gold away from his refresher orb. It just feels like they're always choked right when they're about to get the next items. Then WwD starts out a fight. I'm guessing it's more like they're just unlucky, but I mean, how sick would it be if you time those fights? You know you can win a fight, and you choose to fight when the opponents are pretty close to next items, pick them off, and then the items are just being stalled forever. I mean, how long has it been since 23 it's been going for that refresher orb?
Oh, it's been ages, like 20 minutes now. He's, started to get it, realized a BKB was completely necessary, and now it's the tables have turned. Denial actually having to stay back in their base. They do have an incredible amount of anti-push, but I mean, this Spectre is starting to be a huge problem, and like you said, pretty much every hero or many heroes on Wild Witch Doctor is starting to become a huge problem as well. Razor definitely can just tunnel vision onto any of the supports that Denial has and take them out, and now that BKBs are up on pretty much every main hero, there's almost nothing that Denial can do, and we mentioned this in the draft. As soon as BKBs are down, they don't have a way to deal with them.
Top tower is under attack.
Well,
Beautiful,
this might be the last hand.
beautiful
Wow, that's
stun
a
by
beautiful
Defect.
epicenter. Oh.
SNA though pops the cheese, doesn't quite die, and now everybody melting from Denial. Gyrocopter immediately getting Fiend's Grip, can't do anything. The Illusion actually killing Magic Soap, can't really get out of there, and with that, you got 4 kills for Wild Witch Doctor, only trading a Bane. There is the GG coming out of Defect, and it looks like Wild Witch Doctor's taking a what I thought was a pretty hard to earn win there, coming out from way behind, but still very nice Dota coming out from both teams there.
Well, I don't know if you caught, like, right before the game ended, did you see the gold graph and XP graph?
No, and now it shows nothing because it always freaks out when we're near the end of a game, but no, I did not.
Wow, but that was pretty sick. I think it was, I wasn't sure which one, but I'm guessing it's XP graph. The XP graph was 12,000 in favor of the Radiant team when the game ended, and the gold graph was essentially 0.
Ooh, baby, those ramp ups, obviously. But now, thank you everybody for tuning in to the weekly ESPL series. This has been the quarterfinals. Going to be having the semifinals coming up shortly, I suspect. So stay tuned, everybody. This has been Briefcase, as well as the lovely Mito, bringing you some Dota.
Thanks for watching, guys.